Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Share and You Are Worthy Summit tour that we're doing on Facebook and LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. I'm super excited to be here with you, Dr. Fanike. So, welcome to our tour today. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about the summit. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of information, meet a lot of great people. So I'm just looking forward to it.
Definitely. Me too. I'm super excited about it as well. And I'm going to take a little bit to introduce myself and the summit. I am Trina Bolden Fields. I am a certified life coach, the founder of the You Are Worthy Summit, and we're going to be live in Atlanta this June 28th through the 30th, with some fabulous speakers, including Dr. Fanike. And Dr. Fanike has been a master healer. She's a master healer and as well as a Reiki specialist. I know that you are a doctor in psychology, and you've been doing this work for a long while, doing alchemist healing work, and stepping into helping people work through their financial trauma, as well as like life trauma. As an author, healer, consultant, coach, wife, mother, sister, and friend, I know you understand the dynamic of wholeness and being that whole person and working through things that are necessary. But I know that you also help women entrepreneurs on their path to make a positive impact to living more fulfilling lives, and making sure that they're removing mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual blockages that's been stopping them from living the life that they deserve. And so we're here talking about this because this is also the work that we're doing in the You Are Worthy Summit, and also part of what you're going to be sharing. Do you want to give a little bit overview, and then I'll ask you a few more questions?
I one of the things that I've just learned along the way, just on my own journey, is just if you do not deal with the things that are holding you back, they don't just go away. And I think that's a common misconception. So people have this thing about time heals all wounds. And
Mhm.
it's just not true. It's
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah.
If anything, what I found is that time can exacerbate, those wounds. And
Mhm.
especially when we're talking about emotional and mental wounds, things that we haven't or have chosen not to focus on, things that we tried to just sweep under the rug. And so a
Mhm.
lot of my work just goes into that, because the other thing I know is that, in everything that we do, 90% of it is mindset. And so I can, a lot of the women that I work with, they're new business owners, or transitioning into being a business owner. And, like I tell them, I could give you a checklist. I can say, hey, take this checklist, go get your EIN number, and go incorporate your business. Great. And you have a business. But
Mhm.
how do you get that business to really reflect who you are,
Right.
who you want to be? How do you attract the clients that you feel are aligned with who you are, your mission, your vision, and just you as a person?
Right.
And so a lot of the work that I do goes into that, because beyond the trauma, beyond the pain, beyond the things that people have told us that we have to be or who we are,
Mhm.
is really who we are. And some of us never tap into that layer of really understanding who that person is.
Mhm. Mhm. Definitely. And it's really important to tap into that, because, as you mentioned, it doesn't just go away. And when you're starting a business, it then, like, your journey with your business is impacted by that. I mean, I was sharing with my spouse the other day that I noticed that there's a point when I'm coaching my clients in which this layer shows up if they haven't dealt with it. And we have to work through that layer in order to move them from where they are to where they need to be. And that comes up all the time. So um, that's one of the reasons why I think it's really essential to do the work. Why do you say that it's essential to, like, face your trauma that you may have been impacted by
Yeah.
as a woman business owner?
Yeah. Honestly, as a woman, there are so many, I'll say, pressures
Mhm.
for us to accommodate other people, for us to take care of other people, for us to put other people before ourselves. I think a lot of, just societal norms and expectations kind of put us in a position of learning how to take care of everyone else and everything else before we take care of ourselves.
Oh
So
yeah.
oftentimes, we come last. And it's crazy because even, as an adult, I catch myself when I do it, afterwards, and I'm like, girl, don't do that again. Like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
because I'm like, whoop, because we're socialized. That's literally what we are taught. We're taught to put our children before us, put our
Right.
partners before us, our families, and the even a lot of times the expectation is, even if you have like aging parents, like if they have a daughter, the daughter is going to take care of them, right?
Mhm.
And that's just a lot of times like the expectations that come with being a woman. So when although we start, about 50% of the businesses in the United States each year, right? We
Mhm.
own about 50%, I think it's like 49.2% or something like that. Our businesses, one, close at a much higher rate than
Mhm.
male-owned businesses, but two, don't become enterprise organizations, meaning we're not grossing the amount of money, we're not growing at a large rate, and our businesses are literally, staying like micro organizations. But
Mhm.
why, right? Like
Mhm.
if we own almost 50% of the businesses, why are we not, neck to neck with our counterparts? Well, there's a lot of things that come with that. There's a lot of trauma and a lot of history associated with being with women, or being a woman. We honestly couldn't own bank accounts until when, I think, what, the 70s or something.
Right.
So we're still learning, right? We're still learning about money. We're still learning how
Mhm.
to grow money. We're still getting used to, some of us, having our own money, and
Mhm.
so when you introduce to I learned last night that funding, we as a woman business owner, we are allotted like 1% of the funding, sometimes less than 1%. 1%.
Right.
And
Right.
out of 100, that is out of 100. Just want to
Right.
put that out there. When it comes to funding and trying to secure funding for our businesses. And so oftentimes, like, we're already behind. But when
Mhm.
you're approaching, or you're trying to approach business from a male perspective, that's a whole nother piece. That's a whole nother layer to it. And I think it's really important for us to really step into that, that Venusian energy that we have, that feminine energy, and instead stop trying to fit into the male oriented perspective of what business is supposed to look like and how we're
Mhm.
supposed to tailor our businesses. But as opposed to that, really step into who we are, tap into all of those pieces, tap into our emotions, tap into our
Mhm.
feelings, because those are all superpowers, but we're not taught that those are superpowers. Our intuition, that women's intuition, right? It means something. Um,
Mhm.
and we're not taught that. So I literally, just try to do this work, because what I have found is that the more that we, I think, embrace and follow that path that we've been socialized to follow, we never really reach a point where we, one, know who we are, two,
Mhm.
trust ourselves, even though we should,
Mhm.
and we
Mhm.
don't better on ourselves as much as we should.
Mhm.
And I always think about it as a woman, a lot of times you're managing a household, you're managing, work or business, you're managing yourself, you're managing the needs of all these people. Why can't you successfully manage a business?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah.
I'm letting that settle, like, I'm letting that simmer. That's what that is. Let that simmer. Right.
Yeah,
Can you say it one more time?
yeah,
Because it's so true.
yeah. So that's, I mean, that's why I do the work that I do, because, even along my own journey, I have found that it it was difficult for me. It was really, really difficult for me, just as a female. And then, honestly, adding to the fact, as a Black female,
Mhm.
stepping into a place of really being able to bet on myself and trust myself and say, okay, you have these gifts, you have these talents, even though the world tells me different.
Right.
You can embrace those things. You can really step into who you are. Like, who you are is special. There are things about you that you have to offer, You're not just what you can do for people. You come with more than that. So, it's those mindset pieces that are really, really important. And those are the things that will get us to where we need to be.
Definitely. You said that as far as women, we manage all kinds of other things: family life, work commitments, church commitments, other family commitments. And if we can manage all of that, why can't we manage a business, right?
Yep.
And it is the mindset
Yep.
that that where leads us to where we are. And
Well,
and
yeah. So bringing all that, right? Just think about this. If a woman is confronted with, hey, you can only do three things. So right now you can only focus on three things, right? I guarantee you the thing that either makes her feel good, right? So it's going to be some type of self-care activity, whether that's a dance class that she loves or working out or whatever, right? I guarantee you her self-care and her freedom, whatever the thing is that brings her that freedom, a lot of times it can be a business or makes her, at least gives her that essence of freedom. Those will be the things that will be put last. And she will sacrifice those things to take care of everything else.
right, and what you were sharing as well, that is the case. It's also societal norms and pressure,
Yep.
um, messages that people have learned in the way that they're thinking about it. And I think what people have um, accepted as the way of being,
Yep.
and doing that. And so shifting, when I talk about that mindset work as well, and I know we're going to go into this detail in the summit,
Mhm.
is it's also taken on a different perspective, a different view of what that looks like for you as a woman, as a person, and what you want to create. And I know you're going to go in detail about this. And I want to bring this element into it because we are also talking about the You Are Worthy Summit. We're inviting you all to join us at the You Are Worthy Summit. And I'm just going to share that here, that we're inviting you to join us at the You Are Worthy Summit, and make sure that you can see that as well. Okay, joining us at the You Are Worthy Summit. When we think about, we talked about the things that the woman put last, her taking care of that self-care and her business. How can we turn that around? If you can give us a little bit of that to step into knowing that we're worthy. Maybe not the how, because I know we're going to go in this in the summit, but why is it important to shift that? Let's start there. I think it'd be important to talk about the why. Why is it
Yeah.
important?
So you asked me two questions. The first question is, how can we change that? And I'll give a simple answer. I will go more in depth at the summit, but to me, I think some things are just like non-negotiables. So for me, my business is a non-negotiable. My business is tied to so much for me. My business is tied to, like I said before, my freedom, but my business is also tied to me creating generational wealth for my children. So it's a non-negotiable. And the people around me, and that includes my husband, that includes my siblings, like my support system, they have to be very clear that when it comes to my business, like I can't. There are no negotiations. So if I have things that I have to do with my business, they have to get done.
Right.
And that's because of, not just for me, but for the legacy that I will leave from my children. And that, in a nutshell, right, that trumps so much. But the other piece is when it comes to me taking care of myself, because the thing is, right, I work with people with, burnout and burnout prevention and prioritizing their wellness. And so I have to practice what I preach as well. So when it comes to me doing things that, make me feel good, and it looks all types of different ways. It could be some days where I'm like, I just want a chai from Starbucks. Let me just go get me a chai.
Wow.
It could be I just need a nap. If I can just take a nap, so is there's different levels to what self-care looks like, but in that moment it's always evaluating, like, okay, I feel like I'm becoming depleted. What do I need in this moment to help me to feel like I'm pouring into myself? And
Right.
making sure that I create time for that. So that
Mhm.
may be 15 minutes. That may be me meditating for 10 minutes. That could be, it ranges. It could be a full spa day. It all differs.
Right.
Um, but that is the why. And I will say that, the how, and when we talk about mindset, one thing
Mhm.
is creating those boundaries and saying, hey, this thing or these things are off limits. These are things that I need. And I'm become very clear on these are things that I need, because if I don't get them, I'm not a nice person, which impacts my home life, my business life, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my partner. So for me to be in a good space with
Mhm.
everyone and interact
Mhm.
in a positive way with everyone, there's certain things that I have to make sure I'm handling. And
Right.
I have to be really clear, like, no, I need this, or I need to do this, or, whatever the case may be. So I think people have to become really clear about not just who they are, but
Mhm.
also what they need,
Right.
and be able to verbalize that and say, no, right now I need space, or I need to be by myself, or I
Mhm.
need to take a walk, or I need to step outside. Like whatever that thing is for them in that moment, always being present and being clear about what it is that they need for them to be okay, I think is really, really, really important.
Mhm. Definitely. I absolutely agree, and definitely I think it's important what you shared. Also, it's about making a decision. It's about honoring you, honoring what you're wanting to build, and standing strong in that. If you said it becomes a non-negotiable for you, and setting boundaries. Right, what you
Definitely.
shared. It's about setting boundaries. When I understand, because like when I had my two were very little, it was, can you go to the store for this? Can you go get this? Can you bring my lunch here? Can you do this? And running around doing that and trying to run a business does not mesh or go. And how important it is for us to stay in tune with what we're here to activate, what we're here to move forward in, and then continue to step into that ongoing moving forward over
Definitely.
and over again. Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah. And being clear, I think, about what you need from the people around you, So
Mhm.
um my 4-year-old, whenever I do laundry, I'm like, oh no, come with me and help me, because I want him to learn how to do laundry.
Right.
Because my plan is by the time he's 6, listen, you could be washing clothes. Like
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
go ahead and throw that load in there. You know what to do. I'll stand there and monitor you a couple times, but you got this. You know exactly what you need to do now. Making up his bed, cleaning his room. It's like, let me give you the skills that you
Mhm.
need to be as independent as you possibly can. And he's at the age where he likes helping. So I'm like,
Mhm.
great. Yeah, sure. You want to help? I have stuff for you to do. No problem. Right. Um,
Yeah.
we're still working on cleaning. Cleaning is a fight, but cleaning up his toys is a whole thing. But other than that, he's like, Mommy, can I help? Can I help you cook? Mommy, can I help you do this? Mommy, can I help you? So I have him like put away certain dishes, and it's
Mhm.
just certain things, because I'm also very clear that for this to work, and I want to shout out Christina Garrett real quick of the Mamathon Diaries. Me too, because
Absolutely.
she always talks about everybody having a role in the
Yes.
house. She's like, the only way that the house works is if everyone is helping, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of how old they are, or everything, but everybody has to help. Everybody has to contribute. Everyone has something that they need to do. It can't just fall on one person, or even one or two people. So, even with the kids, I'm like, listen, I need y'all to do this. I have bonus kids. They have a bathroom, their own bathroom. They have their own room. Great. That's your area. You clean that. I don't, that's not my job.
Right.
Not my job. And
Right.
if I do have to clean behind them, they get a whole earful, because I'm like, listen, I don't want to have to clean up behind you. I have my own bathroom that I have to make sure is clean.
Right.
And so I think it's being really clear about what
Mhm.
you need from the people
Mhm.
around you, and
Mhm.
what your expectations are. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it falls back on you to have to manage everything, and that does not work.
It doesn't work because after a little while, you're ready to really one or a few things, blow your top, right? Or you're sucked back into that caring mode.
Yeah.
Always like
Yeah.
on 24/7. One thing that I want to share here is what I did when I was having that moment with my children when and family. Like we had to have a come to Jesus meeting and really talk about what was necessary. This was years ago and what was needed, what I needed, what they needed, how we could help each other. And we came together like that as a family. And when it came out of that was everybody took a night to cook. We rotated.
Mm.
We shared the grocery shopping. Like the
Yeah.
kids would get a list when we were in the store and they would go grab what was
Oh, I
necessary,
can't wait. I can't
right?
wait.
They're
Oh,
part of the list. That 4-year-old can do that too.
oh no, what I'm doing now is when he goes with me, I help him pick out or I let him pick out like certain like the vegetables. I let him pick
Yeah.
out because now I'm teaching him like how to pick out vegetables, what they need to look like. So when he
Right.
goes with me, I'm like, okay, grab this, grab that. So I
Yeah.
definitely use him, but I can't wait till he's big enough where I can just say, okay, go in the different aisle and get, the stuff. Because my bonus kids, I do that now. I'll send them, okay, you go get blah, blah, blah. You go get this. We're
Yeah.
good. But I cannot wait for him to get old enough where I'm like, okay, you go get this.
Yeah.
I'll meet you back here and I'll see you in a minute.
Yes, what I used to love is the stores with the little small carts, right?
Hmm.
So that we would fill those up. Get it, kids. Yeah, all
Hmm.
that energy. Absolutely
Hmm.
love it. So, you thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I think a lot of times it's being reminded as well of these things. But I know we're going to give some extra detailed, and you're doing a workshop at the You Are Worthy Summit that's going to take people into detail about working through triggers and what that looks like, healing what that looks like, and how they can step into that confidence and know that they are worthy. Um, Definitely. So, did you want to share any more about that?
I think the summit within itself is going to be excellent. During my time with the attendees, I want to work on an action plan. So it's not just, talking and discussing and educating, but what are you going to do moving forward? Like, how are you
Mhm,
going to change this up? What are some things that you can implement right now, right? What are the boundaries? Because the thing about boundaries is honestly, it's easy to come up with boundaries. It's easy to say, yeah, I'm going to do this and but the implementation of actually, executing the boundary is very different.
mhm,
That's where people find sometimes that it's difficult
mhm,
because it requires you to, you know, put people in their place in essence and for you to understand like your place. And that's very different.
mhm.
It's very different. It's different when you're like, yes, I need this and I'm actually going to make sure that I get it versus yeah, I know I need to start saying no more often and limiting my time to other people. But then when people actually say, "Hey, can you do such and such?" You know, are you okay? You're prepared? Are you ready to say, "No, I cannot do that,"
Mm,
and still be
mhm,
okay with it, you know?
right,
So that's different. So, yeah, kind of working with them on the execution piece, really pulling out those pieces that stop them from growing and the pieces that are stopping them from really, leveling up and going to that next place in their lives.
mhm,
And then actually doing something about them or begin to take steps to do something about them.
right. Absolutely love it because it's the process that you're going to be sharing. And I really believe that this is a life changing opportunity to really shift and to go deep on what it is that's keeping you stuck, what it is that will move you forward, and how you can implement that. Like, what are those practical things, practical tools, practical steps that are going to move you from that place and move you into knowing that you are worthy throughout the whole summit, but also just the beginning process of going deep on that healing piece. And so, Dr. Fanike, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the summit and your workshop because I know it's going to be life changing for those who are in attendance. And so, for those of you who are joining us live or listening to the replay, I want to encourage you to go to youareworthy.live/Fenike. You can take a look at this link, which is, it needs the S on the HTTPS and the colon and the 2 slash marks, along with youareworthy.live/Fenike. Be sure to register for this summit because it is life-changing. We're going to be talking with people about navigating self-doubt, that imposter syndrome that comes up, the fear that comes up that really tries to like choke out your inner desires and your dreams when you're going after them. So we're going to be like talking about that and giving you the solutions in the You Are Worthy Summit, which is really knowing you are worthy, creating that action plan and taking action. So we're going to be putting some tools in place to help you move out of those places of being stuck, and being in a cycle of feeling not good enough. So we're going to be working through that and helping you get to where you need to be to know you are worthy, so that you can create, step into a bolder version of yourself and create the vision that you're here to activate, make the change you're here for as well. So definitely. Anything else you wanted to share about that, Dr. Fenike?
That's it. I think you summarized it really, really well. Like I said, I'm excited. I think it's going to be really impactful, and I think life changing was a good term that you used just now. And I'm looking forward to it. Extremely transformative, and I'm just excited about working with all of the attendees. You always have great groups that are very receptive and action takers and ready to actually implement the things that are given to them. So yeah, I think that the summit is for anyone that falls under that category.
Yeah, if you're a change maker, a visionary leader, a trailblazer who's wanting to create your next phase of life, your next idea, and you know you need some support doing that, the summit is for you. So make sure you're in the room for it. So thank you so much, Dr. Fenike. Thank you for being here. So appreciate you.
Thank you.